And joining me right now is White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Sarah, it is good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to see you. Good morning.
I know the president has called a meeting today with those Democrats to go through it. He said that a solution can be done in 45 minutes. What should we expect from the meeting today as the Democrats seem to be digging in?
Let's hope Democrats come prepared to actually do their jobs today, something, frankly, we haven't seen them do over the last several weeks as this has been going on. The White House and the president have laid out a clear proposal that funds and protects our border, and that is something that we absolutely have to do. I cannot believe that Senator Schumer would say that the president's address last night was not for a noble cause. I think there's no more noble a cause of a president than to fight and protect the people of this country, which is exactly what this president is doing and exactly what he laid out last night. It is absolutely abhorrent that Senator Schumer would not recognize the severity of what's taking place and not want to work with the president to try to fix it, particularly when it's something that he has supported, voted for, and talked about continuous number of times over the past decade.
So what does he say, Sarah, when faced with the fact that back in 2006, Chuck Schumer said we need a barrier on the southern border to keep out illegal immigrants, just like Barack Obama said it, just like Hillary Clinton voted for it. I mean, is anyone asking him why he is not for it now, but he was just a few years ago?
We've asked it a number of times, and they don't have a good answer. The only thing that has changed in this process is who is the president. So the only thing that we can come up with is that the Democrats, and Chuck Schumer particularly, care more about fighting against the president than they do about protecting Americans. They've turned this into a political game, and they've got to put that aside, come to the table, sit down with us, and work with us to get the job done, and we hope that they'll do that this afternoon.
Well, here's Chuck Schumer just a few years ago. This is from 2009. Watch this.
Above all else, the American people want their government to be serious about protecting the public, enforcing the rule of law, and creating a rational system of legal immigration that will proactively fit our needs rather than reactively responding to future waves of illegal immigration. People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who enter the U.S. legally.
Not only that, but there already is an existing barrier on, what, 600 miles of the border already? So if Nancy Pelosi says this wall is immoral, why is that barrier not immoral?
It's the most insane argument I've ever heard. Not only have they talked about it in the past, Maria, they voted for it. They have supported legislation that does exactly what the president is asking them to do, except he wants to do it faster and he wants to cover more ground. Look, we're already building the wall and we're already under contract to build, continue building. But the president wants to finish the job. We've got to stop kicking the can down the road. I mean, this is the idea that they push, that this is an immoral cause. To me, what is immoral is doing absolutely nothing, which is what the Democrats have done over the last several weeks. And frankly, since the president got into office over the last 2 years, they've got to come to the table. They've got to work with us. Look, the crisis is real. When you have 1 in 3 women that are sexually assaulted making the trek up through Mexico, that is a humanitarian crisis. When 300 Americans in a single week are dying from heroin overdoses, and we know that 90% of that heroin comes from across our southern border, that is a problem, and that is something we have to address. And the failure of Democrats not only to recognize it, but to do something about it is disgusting, and that is exactly what is immoral. And I hope that they'll show up today and work with the president and get this done.
Okay, but at the same time, the president is the leader of the free world. It is on him to make sure things are going well and the government is operating. So now we've got this warning from Fitch rating services. They say that the U.S. is in danger of losing its AAA rating, the credit rating, if this shutdown causes the U.S. to hit the debt ceiling. You also now are approaching this Friday when this is the first pay period when those 800,000 furloughed people are not going to get paid. They've got bills to pay. They're going to see, is all of this pressuring the president to come to the middle somehow and somehow, you know, appease the Democrats in whatever way they want? He's already said that he's agreed to make it a steel barrier because that was the Democrats' idea, right?
Absolutely.
What else can he do, Sarah?
Maria, let's not be lost here. The president doesn't want the government shut down. He wants the government to open, but he also wants it to do its job. And one of the fundamental goals that the federal government has, and the president in particular, is to protect the people of this country. The president has to fulfill the sacred oath that he took in order to do that. But at the same time, we want to protect federal workers. The president and our administration are doing everything we can to minimize the impact, and we're going to continue looking for ways to do that. Look, we have time. The Democrats should come work with us. Let's get this done. Nobody wants to see this continue. The president has already demonstrated a willingness to work with Democrats. We've seen him take away. They said they didn't want a concrete wall. He said, fine, we'll make it a steel barrier. They asked for specific types of technology at ports of entry. We included that in the proposal that we sent to Democrats, which we still haven't heard back from them on. We put a proposal forward. We've still heard nothing. They haven't countered. They haven't come to the table. They haven't been willing to negotiate at all. We hope that we see a different attitude out of them today. We hope they get serious about protecting our border and protecting the citizens of this country.
Why did the president decide not to call for a national emergency last night?
That's still something that we're looking at. It's still certainly an option on the table. But the president wants to work with Congress. There are three branches of government for a reason. We would like to be able to work together to get this done. Frankly, there's not a difference in opinion. They know there's a crisis, but they continue to want to deny it. They know that we need border security. They need to just decide that they want to actually put politics aside, quit fighting the president, and support something that they know is right.
So you think they just want to fight, and they just want to make sure that he doesn't have another campaign promise that he delivered going into 2020. That's what this is all about then?
Absolutely. There's no other logical reason that makes sense other than they don't want to give the president a victory. And I think that is one of the saddest things that you can witness in American politics.